to stand up, and we're working with the League for Cities, have started to stand up across the country and say, we cannot let this happen anymore. We are not letting these kids drop out of high school. We need them. We need to put them back in. So that phenomenon is beginning to happen more widely, and I hope you can take up that call when you go back to your communities and sit down with the mayor and look at the economic development and prosperity resources and see whether you can map quite a lot of things that I think working together may be more possible than working in the silos that we all live in. So let me segue a minute now to the students who do graduate from high school and go on to college. Only 40% graduate within 6 years from the first institution they enroll in. So again, the President's focus on completing college, more graduates, is exactly where we can make change and have a tremendous opportunity. When the President announced the graduation initiative in Warren, Michigan, he called for 5 million more community college graduates by the year 2020. And if we add several million more graduates from our four-year colleges and universities, because we'll be transferring a number of those through, and that will count for a graduate in a community college if you transfer or if you get a degree and if you get a certificate. I mean, those are all extremely positive results that we will be tracking over time. And if we do that, we will reach the President's 2020 goal. Now, about a third of the graduates will come from our high schools, and you'll see the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act fund. You'll see a fund coming out probably in the next few months called Race to the Top. It's been in the papers. It's an application to states to work with their local education agencies, and we hope you are at the table in those conversations while those state plans are being developed, because we want strong states and strong schools. That is the goal. So with the preparation that will be happening across the board in early learning in K-12, we expect that about a third of the college graduates will come from increasing the preparation and success of high school students. A lot of the improvements are coming from the partnerships that you have with those high schools. The Gates partnerships have been tremendous in the early college high school. We have the middle college high school started at LaGuardia and spread across the country. We have great success rates in a lot of the career technical partnerships that we see in various communities around America. So we want to encourage a lot more of that to get more of those students coming through, which will then for us give us that third more result to meet the President's goal. The rest of the students are going to be drawn from the 75 million Americans that have little or no college. So that is, again, an enormous challenge for all of you, all of the trustees, and for all of us who are now in Washington. How can this be that America has 75 million people that have little or no college at all levels? So we have a delegation from Texas recently came to visit my office, and I should make a point that our doors are open. We want to hear from you. We want you to come into the administration in Washington, share what's happening. The more we can educate ourselves, the better we'll be able to represent you. And I'm thrilled that we have some people here from Washington to be able to listen in on a lot of the great sessions at the conference. This particular delegation from Texas told me that they had just finished a study, a multi-year study, where they had identified all students in all the community colleges and universities who had completed 100 or more semester units of college, but dropped out and never finished. And they went after them. They got back about half of them. The reasons were predominantly not academic reasons. They were financial reasons. They were social reasons. They were family reasons. They had to migrate somewhere else in the state. They just never finished. So that is really a great solution in the short term. They never graduated. They put in a systematic plan to bring them back, and they got more than half of them back in just a few years. And this was a great start, in my opinion, to even look at who had a little college but never got through and why, and then what do we need to do locally to get more students through. A generation ago, it was good enough when 40% of Americans held a 2-year or a 4-year degree. We were first in the world. That proportion was high enough to make us the most educated, the best, the most competitive. But today, many countries have passed us by, and your theme, we are in a global world. I think your theme talks to that. And right now, South Korea, Canada, as I said, Japan, Finland, among them, they are making enormous investments in higher education and K-12, while we have lost ground. Here in the United States, though, students from affluent families almost always continue to pursue higher education. But if you look at the bottom half, the bottom 25% of the income ladder, barely half of high school graduates who are in that bottom half, the bottom 25% of the income ladder, attend college. These are the students in the disadvantaged communities, in the struggling communities, and we have a huge, huge job to do there. And I know a lot of the work that's going on in your communities, led by your presidents and your faculty, is just enormously helpful to pull in students from these underserved communities and get them into college. But when they come, only about 1 in 4 low-income students graduates within 6 years. It's about half for everybody else, but for these students, it's only 1 in 4. Now, if you couple that with the fact that by 2016, just 7 years from now, 4 out of every 10 new jobs are going to require advanced education, a baccalaureate degree, advanced training. We don't want students to get cut out of the job market. 30 of the fastest growing fields, as President Obama said, are going to require a minimum of a bachelor's degree, so we'll need more students transferring through. You'll see a lot of emphasis on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. We certainly don't have enough teachers. Many of the elementary school teachers don't have math backgrounds. We're going to need 1.7 million more teachers in the next decade. These are enormous challenges before us. And if you go back globally, we rank 15th in the world right now in terms of the numbers of certificates and degrees that we offer. So we are absolutely in Washington, and I know all of you share this, we are committed to changing this. And the President's ambitious proposals are designed to do just that, get a start on this, get a handle on this, begin to make a lot of progress, assess where we are, and then go forward even faster. So as Noah Brown said, the Obama administration is providing the biggest investment in higher education that we've seen since the GI Bill, most definitely. And we have the biggest investment in federal student aid as the beginning centerpiece of that. So I'll call it ARA, the Americans Recovery and Reinvestment Act. ARA funds in the 2010 budget are going to give us $129 billion in new grants, loans, and other assistance for students, directly for those students from the low-income families in the country, which is a 32% increase since fiscal 2008. This means that more than 14 million families are going to be using the assistance to send students to college. We've also done a lot of work to simplify the FAFSA, the Federal Student Aid Application, and we were fortunate to work with the best federal student aid directors from around the country. Many of your institutions were involved in that work, and the shared vision is to have it fully web-based and as simple as possible, using income tax data that can be ported directly from the IRS, using skip logic. We've already cut out 2/3 of the questions. And I do want to acknowledge Bob Shireman from the Washington office. He's the Deputy Undersecretary. Bill Taggart, he ran Wachovia's Worldwide Investment Banking for many years, and he is our new Chief Operating Officer.